Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the mill. Right here beside me, we got a little bitty cherry log throwed up on the mill today. Some customer wood. It's about 2 foot, a little over 2 foot square. Good size for cherry around here. It's a solid 8 feet. Customer wants some large mantles out of this, so we're going to try to accommodate that with some probably 6-inch thick, 8 to 12-inch wide with a live edge. Matthew will show you a picture in a minute. We got 2 more logs outside that we're just going to slab into 1-inch boards, and these he'll take home with him and air dry for a couple of years. But the boards we're going to run through our kiln. I believe that's going to do it. Let's get to work. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be right back, guys. Okay guys, I get a lot of questions from different viewers wanting to know what I'm thinking when we go through the process of cutting one of these logs. So our goal is to get as many 6-inch mantles as we can, and this log is so big you got to break it down. So my first few cuts are going to be right across the top, make some 1-inch boards to get it flat. Probably get down to about right in here somewhere. I'll drop down 6 inches and take a cut all the way across. And that should make 2 mantles. We'll have to stand it back up and cut it in half, but we'll accommodate that in a little bit. So that's what I'm thinking. That's where we're going to start, and we'll see what happens. We're also running Wood-Mizer Turbo 7 saw blades, 55 thousandths, and we buy those from Joe Main at Industrial Cutting Tools. You'll see their banner hanging on our walls. We greatly appreciate these people. If you need saw blades, get in touch with Joe. His contact info will be in the description below. Let's get to it. Okay guys, we got that log broke down. We got them all our mantle pieces are now 6 inches thick. Some of them, like this one, is not too bad size. It's about a 5 by 10 or 6 by 10. This is a little oversized, like 13 and a half. Now what I got set up on the mill upside down, the face is down, and that allows my face to be parallel. Now I want to cut the back to be parallel with the face. So when you put it on the wall, this side of the mantle is not out 13 inches and this side out 8 inches. So we're just going to kind of square it up. This one's not too bad, but I got a couple over there. I know there's some taper in the end. So we throw them up there, we'll cut that taper off. Just one way to make sure your customer gets the prettiest face possible for a mantle. Last thing you're gonna do is put it up on the wall, and you can put a 12-inch something on this end, and you only got 4 inches on this end because there's so much taper in it. So let's make a few boards. Thanks, guys. Okay guys, Matthew just asked me a question why I trimmed the face on this, because this is a face cut. The reason I did is it come up to a real sharp edge right here, and it just was not going to hold up over time. So I took just a little bit off of it to get a little meat right here, and when this bark dries and comes off, he'll still have a beautiful sanded edge. So you got to make compromises. That's why I did it. It makes the finished product turn out better. Yeah, I'd rather not have to, but just the way this particular piece of wood was, it come up there to a real knife edge, and it just wasn't going to be correct. So, question answered. Good question, Matthew. Okay guys, this log's got the same problem the other one had. See how sharp this angle is? I don't particularly like it. So I'm gonna come in here and probably take about an inch and a half off of it, just to get rid of some of this, because that sharp edge can be rough. So that's why I did it before. I'm gonna take just a little bit off of here, and then we'll drop down and cut a 8 or 10 each piece out of it. So let's make it happen. Okay guys, I did the same thing again on this. It's hard to see with the bark still on it, but when the bark comes off, that live edge is going to come up to right here, and that's perfectly acceptable. I'd rather have a little wood here versus having the cadmium layer of this log that's going to degrade over time. That gives a good hard edge. When they take the bark off and sand it smooth, that will be beautiful. So just bear that in mind when you're cutting mantels. You got to make accommodations for what the wood gives you. Got one more, we'll be done with these mantel pieces. Thanks guys. Okay guys, we got the last piece up here. Now this mantel has the opposite problem of the rest of them we've had. If you can see it, it's about 14.5 here in the middle. It's about 17.5 on both ends. It bows up. It couldn't be helped because of the way we had to cut the log. Normally you try to pick the side that has a little outside bow on it, but maximizing the use of this one, it just comes up with the inverted bow. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this point right here, it's about 14.5. We're gonna raise our blade up to about 15.5, and it'll catch here and cut flat across, and it'll catch here and cut flat across. It won't be live edge all the way down, but it will have the majority of it live edge, and it may end up being a 6-foot mantel. It don't matter, but we're gonna make the best out of it, because this inverted bow is never a good idea for a mantel. So that's why we're gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it at 15.5 inches, and we'll roll it over, and I'm gonna size it down to around 10, and it'll be out of here and gone. Hang on. Okay guys, this our mantel that we just took a little face cut off the top. I want to show it to you. This is what you're gonna see. You always want the deepest part on top and the shallow part on the bottom, and I didn't want that bow in it. So we clip the corners a little bit. If he uses it at 8 feet, this is perfectly acceptable. If he chops it down to 6 feet, it won't even matter. But Matthew's going to show you a shot down the side of it. Okay guys, as you can see looking down this log, what I'm shooting for, it's 10 inches deep here. It's 9 inches in the middle, and that's 10 inches on this end. That's perfectly acceptable. Last thing you're going to do is have a 10-inch mantel here and have 5 inches here. That won't look good. This will work. I know a lot of you guys cut mantels. A lot of you want to learn how to cut mantels. It's more than just throw a log up there and hog out a big old piece of meat and say, hey, you got a mantel. It's not hard, but it does take some thinking. You want to try to get the best this piece of wood or log has to offer. So everyone's going to be a little bit different, but it is more than just throw it up there and cut a big piece of wood. You want to try to, remember, this is going to somebody's home. This is going to be on their fireplace or a false mantel. It's going to be there for a lifetime, and you want them to be proud of it. You want to be proud you cut it. So that's all our mantels for this morning. Matthew and I got 2 cherry logs we're going to bust through, and we'll come back at the end. We'll talk about it. Thanks for watching, guys. Okay, I told you we'd be back at the end, but had a little something come up. Our next log was 13 foot long, and I mean it was like a banana. About 9 feet was pretty straight, maybe 10, and then it just arced up the hill. I'll show you a little trick Matthew and I use here. Instead of wasting that material, instead of cutting it off at 8 feet or edging our boards all down to 6 inches to try to get them clear, I put that log up there and I laid it up on the mill to where the curve was laying flat, and I put a flat surface on it and I stood it up. And then I put the majority of the log flat on the mill and let the banana end of it just turn up. And then I've sat here and whacked cookies off of it. And you end up with a board that looks something like that. Matthew's gonna grab the camera and I'll show you the rest of them over here. I've took that nasty piece of wood and I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces. Here's number 4. Here's number 5. Look at that. How pretty that is. Go on down the list. Here's number 6. And the first one, number 7. Now, what we'll do, we'll take these ugly little diamond-shaped pieces and we'll put them in our kiln and run them, and then either sell them, give them away to people for craft projects, or you can imagine some kind of writing on it, welcome home, or no place like home, whatever you can imagine. But instead of wasting this material with the kiln, we'll go ahead and dry it. If it defects and cracks and fractures, we just throw it away, use it for kindling, whatever. But if it dries pretty, and most of them do, then there's a market for this instead of just putting it straight in your burn hole. That's why we stopped I just want to tell you that there is a market for this pretty little stuff. If you get a knot where you can get bark on both ends, you can imagine a fish mount, set of deer horns, a lot of different things. But anyway, you're running a sawmill, you got to maximize everything you can, and we try not to put it straight to waste unless that's what it is, waste. So you can see our log is not very pretty. It has that bend on this end. Probably gonna turn it over and square the face. Probably end up cutting it down 10, 11 foot to get some of this out of it. But enough said, let's get back to work. We're not gonna get finished, we keep talking. Thanks, guys. Okay, guys, here, we're trying to get done. This is our last log. This is another prime example. There's 2 ways to cut this log. If customers want the 2-inch stuff, I would lay it flat and I would incorporate this crotch knot in it. It'd be beautiful. This customer wants clean 1-inch boards to use, you know, doing projects. So this knot is not helpful. It's got to go away. Now, I can take a cut right here and just hog it off and it's gone, but I'm gonna take it right about here and do 1-inch cuts till I get to the flat top of this log. And we'll save these little crotch pieces for specialty projects. Something you might want to incorporate in your own mill. Let's make it go away and make some boards. Okay, guys, that's gonna do it. We finally got all this cherry went through. Matthew got all the edging done. Those 3 logs wasn't too bad. It was right just short of 600 board feet for this stack of boards. It's almost 400 feet, and the 5 panels out there that was almost 200 feet. So we'll just round up 600 for topic of discussion. The boards is just standard, you know, cut them, square them, run them through. No big deal. You guys do this every day. The mantles, I just recommend you spend a little more time rolling the log, kind of figure out where you want the face to be. But that's gonna do it for today. You got anything, Matthew? No. We appreciate you watching. I enjoy sawing this stuff. The boards we're gonna keep here. We'll run those through the kiln here in a few weeks so we get a stack of hardwoods together to go with it. The mantles he'll come pick up, take home, so they need to air dry for a long time. But we appreciate you watching, guys. If you would, take the opportunity to like, subscribe, and share. Click that bell icon so you get notified. And Merry Christmas. We'll see you back at the mill.
Thank you for watching. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion. Click here to subscribe for more great content. We'll see you at the mill.